lesson is going to be on igneous rocks. And we're going to start with a definition. Igneous rocks are formed when liquid or molten, it's another word for liquid, rock cools and solidifies. So lava is liquid rock or molten rock when it's above ground. Magma is really the same thing, but it's what we call it when it's below the ground. So if lava is running across the ground, eventually that lava is going to cool off and turn into solid rock, and that solid rock would be an igneous rock. Now, when we identify igneous rocks, we're going to look for two things. We are going to look at the texture, and the texture is basically just the size of the crystals. Now, if it has big crystals, we say its texture is coarse. Because it's going to be really rough and bumpy because it has those big crystals in it. We know that it cooled slowly because those crystals take a long, long time to grow. So if they've grown big, it took a long time, so they cooled slowly. And that happens underground. So if they're underground, they're not exposed to the cool temperatures on the surface, and they're going to cool really slowly. There are two names for this type of rock. We can say they're intrusive. Okay, it's got that in it, so I think of that as being in the ground still. Or they call it plutonic. Pluto is the Greek god of the underworld, so plutonic means it formed underground. Now, if it has small crystals, we call it fine rather than coarse. Or if it's glassy, meaning no crystals at all, that means it had to cool fast, okay, because the crystals didn't have time to grow big. So these cooled fast or quickly. Above the ground. And the names for those are going to be extrusive. Okay, I think of intrusive as being in the ground. Extrusive means it's exited from the ground or it's come out of the ground. Or we call it volcanic. Because for the lava to get out of the ground, it has to come out of a volcano. Sometimes when shot out of a volcano, air pockets are formed. So not every time, but sometimes there will be air pockets in the rock. And if air pockets are in it, we call it vesicular. Now that seems like a lot of terms to memorize. We have intrusive, extrusive, coarse, fine, and all that. But if you look on the reference tables on page 6, you'll find this chart. And it has the information on it. Okay, we have over here intrusive. Okay, we have that it has coarse or very coarse, big crystals. So all that information is on the reference table. You just have to know where to find it. Okay, if it's extrusive, okay, and has small crystals or is glassy, it's going to be up here. Fine is here, glassy is here. Vesicular, gas pockets is here. So all those words are on the reference tables. You just have to know where to find them. going back to the notes. The other thing we look at, besides the texture, is the composition, what it's made up of. Right? And to do that, we look at their color. If they are light colored, we know that they are also going to be low density. And they're going to contain aluminum. And the name for that type of rock is felsic. If they're darker colored, we know they're going to be higher density. They're going to contain iron or magnesium. And we call that mafic. Again, a couple of vocabulary words, felsic and mafic, but you don't have to memorize those necessarily either because, again, they are on the reference table. If I look here, on the left side are felsic rocks, okay, and they're lighter colored and lower density, so you don't have to memorize that. They're also going to contain these minerals. Okay, potassium, feldspar, quartz, and so on, if they are felsic on the left side. The mafic rocks are going to be on the right side, okay, so they're darker and higher density, and they're going to contain these minerals, olivine and pyroxene. So again, we don't have to memorize it, we just need to know where to find it. And again, we'll go back to the notes, and on page 2 of the notes, we have a couple of examples of how you're going to identify rocks. So the first one says, identify a dark-colored rock with air pockets and small crystals. So our hints are that it's dark-colored, it has air pockets and small crystals. So we just look at that reference table. And we are going to find, we said dark-colored, so dark-colored's over here. It's going to be a mafic rock, so it's going to be on this side. So I know it's going to be in this column. Because it's dark colored, I know it's going to be in this column right here. The other hints were that it was small crystals. Small crystals is fine. So that puts me in this area. We know then that it is extrusive, okay, cooled above ground. And it also said that it had gas pockets, so that's going to be right here. Now the only place those two overlap is just in this area. So that tells me it's going to be one of these rocks. Now the only one that fits both categories, okay, is mafic, and it has fine texture and air pockets, is going to be this vesicular basalt right here. So we're going to say that that one is vesicular basalt. So we are going to say that this is vesicular basalt. Our second example, we have a rock with large crystals, and it contains a lot of quartz. So we're going to use those two clues to identify our rock. And again, we're going to go to the same reference table. And we're going to erase what we've done before. Okay? And this time we said that it has large crystals. Remember, if it has large crystals, we're going to say it's intrusive because it formed in the ground because crystals took a long time to grow. We could say it's coarse or even very coarse, meaning very big. So that's going to put me in this range right here. So I've narrowed down which rocks it is from that. The second thing, it says that it has quartz in it. And if we look on here, all of the quartz is right in here. It's in this section. So that's going to put us in here. Okay? So the rocks that fit both descriptions, okay, they're intrusive, they have big crystals, and have a lot of quartz, are just these right in here, granite and pegmatite. And either one of those could be the right answer. So we can answer either one, or we could write both and be correct. So back here we are going to say that this is granite or pegmatite.